Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we're going to be talking about Delta 5, a Japanese super major that happened this past weekend, and this event was insane. One of the most enjoyable top 8s I have seen in a very long time. Let's just get right into it. For our top 16 finishers, you're going to have Leaf, Now, Umeki, and Takai in 13th, Kameme, Shuton, Asimo, and Noi in 9th, Jogabu and Nietono in 7th, Ken and Jigaimo in 5th, Yara in 4th, Mia in 3rd, Hurt in 2nd, and then winning everything was, of course, Akala. And we're going to start off by talking about some underperformances. In 33rd, you're going to have Zachary, Gakt, and Hiro. Now, for Hiro, I definitely get it. He's playing Bowser, an inconsistent character by nature. And sometimes you are just going to have lower placements. Gakt as well, even though he is a generally very consistent player, every once in a while, sometimes you're going to run into a bracket that is honestly pretty difficult for Ness. And he lost to Lai and Toriguri. Now, I do think that Korin does pretty well versus Ness. Banjo and Ness, I don't really have a clue about, but Toriguri is kind of built different, so I can let that one slide. Also, Hiro lost to Noi and Repo, and finally Zachary, who lost to Leaf really early on, and then Nietono in the loser's side of the bracket. Now, Zachary, I believe he was still playing a majority pit at this tournament, but he has said that he is going to be adding Joker and Rob back to the roster. I know he was playing them at some local events, so the only reason that Zachary didn't perform here, if I had to guess, is because it wasn't a Kaguribi, because, you know, he does really, really well at those events, but outside of that, this year, he hasn't been as good. But to be fair, he's juggling 3 characters at the top level, so it's really, really difficult to be consistent with that, and Zachary having one bad placement isn't the end of the world. You're also going to have Neo out at 25th, losing to Ike in pools and Reno in the loser side. He did go on a decent losers bracket, getting some nice wins on players like Tamigo or Akasa, but at the end of the day, it is still an underperformance, though it's not the end of the world for Neo. It's going to happen. He's going to bounce back because he's such an incredible player. And then finally, you also have 3 guys in 9th in Kameme, Shuton, and Asimo. Technically, underperformances for all of them, but still, it's 9th place at a super major, not the end of the world. For reference, Kameme lost to Mia and Nietono, so can't feel too bad about that one. Shuton lost to Jigaimo and Hurt. Can't feel too bad about that. And Asimo lost to Ken and Yar. So all these players, none of them really had bad losses. The worst was probably going to Shuton, but Jigaimo is the best Palutena player in the world. And after this performance from Hurt, he's going to be ranked way higher anyway. So it's not the end of the world again. We got to talk about some overperformances as well. You're going to have Tama P and Akaka Kisu both ending in 17th place. You're going to have Tama picking up wins on Ludo, SSSR, and Takara. Bayonetta, we've talked about this a lot in a lot of videos just because Bayo is a character that is doing incredibly well as of late. And I would say that Tama is definitely the best Bayo in Japan. He's been getting some pretty ludicrous results with this character. And I honestly think that he's going to get his first top 8 in a major anytime. Now you're going to have Aka as well, who has top 8 in major events before and is the best hero player in the world. He was able to pick up wins on Keisha, Yaman Auction, and Gachapi. So really nice run from both of these players. It's really interesting to see as well. Like, again, we've talked about the Japanese meta a lot, but you're going to have a mix of super common characters that are doing well everywhere and kind of more obscure characters that aren't having as much global success, which leads me to Leaf, who ended up getting 13th place with Robin, which is absolutely crazy. He was able to beat Zachary, which is definitely his most notable win, Rima, Lai, and Itorie. Simply an incredible run from him. Like, huge shouts to Leaf for this. And then Proof Luck here, I just forgot to mention EIK or Ike in 17th place and Noi in 9th place. For EIK, he's able to get wins on Neo, Gorioka, and Matsunabe. Now, Peach is not an uncommon character at the top level by any means. You have Ling, you have Umeki, you have Mutes, you have a lot of very good Peach players, but it doesn't take away from the fact that every time a Peach player does pull off a run of this caliber, it is so impressive. This character is insanely hard, especially at the top level. And if you're able to take a win off a player of Neo's caliber, you got to be playing absolutely out of your mind. So big shout outs to EIK for this run. Really, really popped off. Noi as well, using a combination of PT, Olimar, and Sephiroth. I believe those majority PT and Olimar. He's able to get wins on Fui, the really good Yoshi player, Hito, and Yara for a 9th place finish. Really strong from him. Pokemon Trainer is not a character that does super well in the current meta, but I really wish that could change. And I honestly think that Noi is one of the front runners to make that happen. And we are going to be moving on to the top 8 now, but if there's any player left out at any point in the video and you're curious of how the run was, please leave a comment down below and I'll be sure to tell you how they did. But for 7th place, you're going to have Jogabu and Nietono. Jogabu getting wins on Mido Run, Chicken, Kananabe, Now, and Knowing that for Jogabu, I know a lot of people were fairly curious of how he would do this event considering that he had an underperformance at Terra, and me personally, I wasn't too worried for him. It was only 17th place at Terra, losing to Super Semi and Siski, who are incredible players, and as expected, he bounced back right away. I mean, he is so clearly the best Captain Falcon in the world, and honestly, I don't know if anyone's going to be able to take that title from him. He is just the proficiency with this character that he has is absolutely unreal. So good work to Jogabu, keep it up. Nietono as well with 7th place wins on Fire, Zachary, Toruguri, I'm, Takai, and Kameme. And aside from Fire, all of those wins were done within the lower side of the bracket. And I gotta say, Huge credit to Niotona because it is a massive risk to change your character, to change your main at any point in Smash Ultimate. But to do it like 4, almost 5 years into the game to say Pichu, he's just not working out in the current meta, full switch to Diddy Kong. I don't think he's fully abandoned the Pichu, but Diddy Kong is definitely the front and center. And then to get an insane result like this, it just takes an insane amount of effort, it takes an insane amount of work, and it's just a massive risk for Niotona to take as well, and it did pay off for him, so big ups to him for that. I just can't commend him enough for it. In fifth place, you're going to have Jagaimo and Ken. Ken, we kind of expected him to be here. Jagaimo, the big pop-off turn from him. He was able to get wins on Lax, Lai, Takai, and Shutone. That Shutone win being especially impressive just because, I mean, it's Shutone. He's a top 10 caliber player in the world. But also the record previous to this was 7-0 in Shutone's favor. So big ups to Jagaimo. That was one of his big demons that he was finally able to conquer. Also, the last time that they played was at Delta 4, so he was able to get his Delta revenge. And Paulo as a character has just been farming as of late. Jagaimo, I would definitely still say that he is the best rep of Palutena, considering that he has an amazing performance this weekend. But Chase and Luis, they definitely had some nice results that we'll talk about in a future video. But our other fifth place finisher is going to be Ken. And ever since Solo Sonic, he has been doing so much better. And he did play a little bit of Sephiroth this tournament, but again, Sonic is going to be the main focus. He was able to get wins on Trigger, Sigma, Jogabu, and Osimo. I mean, it just makes sense. You're going from playing one of the best characters in the game to a good character, but he's not Sonic caliber, and Ken has been playing Sonic for so long. He's been good at this character for so long, so he might as well stick to what he knows, and it's been doing wonders for him. In fourth place, you're going to have Yara. Third place, Mia. Yara was able to pick up wins on Kept, Kananabe, Chicken, Umeki, Osimo, Jogabu, and Jagaimo. He got upset fairly early on by Noise, so really nice losers run from him. And again, that title of who the best Samus in the world is going to be, it is so close between him and Siski, and I like to throw Icy Mist in there. But with this run, this is the best run that a Samus player has had in 2023, at least in terms of placement at one of these major events. So Yara got to be feeling super good about that one. And then Mia in third place, just like last weekend, he has a very competitive set with Aqua that he probably should have won, ends up losing that one, and then falls for third place. Still was able to pick up wins on Shiryuki, Atorie, Kameme, and Jagaimo, and technically it is an underperformance, but also it's third place at a super major. Mia is such a phenomenal player. I really wouldn't let this get him down, and the second that he beats Aqua, I feel like it's going to be such a massive mental barrier broken because he has been struggling in that matchup for a very long time. Granted, he has done it one time before, but these recent encounters have been so insanely close, and he just can't quite close it out. So feels like the next time that they play, he surely got it in the bag. And our grand finalists are going to be Hurt in second and Akala in first. And we got to talk about Hurt because this was by far the run of the tournament, both in terms of losers run and just run in general. He was able to beat Uame, Toraguri, then fell to the loser side of bracket, beat Reno, Leaf, Shutone, Niyotono, Ken, Yara, Mia, and Akla, and barely didn't manage to close it out in the second set of Grand Finals. Game 5, last stock, last hit. And this was his first ever time playing Akla, by the way. Ended up trading sets with him. Took more games as well because Akla, first set was going to be 3-1, and the second set's going to be 3-2. So overall, Hurt does have a winning record there, which is pretty funny when you think about it. Also, he beat Mia without using grenades pretty much because of the way that Bucket works. You really cannot pull grenades in that matchup, which is why it is so incredibly difficult. But Hurt just boxed out with Mia, and he won in Game 5 fashion. So ludicrous that you can do that to a top 3 player. You can take a fundamental part of your kit, the core of your kit, and just take it out and still win. Absolutely ludicrous. And we've all known that Hurt is a very good player. We've been seeing the stuff that he's doing at the regional level. We just had to wait till he took it to the big stage, and he finally did it this time around. And with this run, I think you can probably call him the best Snake in the entire world. He was right on the edge there alongside Dio and Apollo Kage, at least in my opinion. And this is the best performance a Snake player has had maybe ever in Smash Ultimate. You have to go back way to the start where Ally was having some of his good runs, but at least in the terms of the recent meta, and especially in the post-quarantine era, this is the best run we have ever seen from a Snake player, beating multiple top 10 players along the way. So huge shouts to Hurt. He's got to be insanely happy about this. And our grand champion is going to be Akala with wins on SSSR, Umeki, Noi, Ken, Mia, and Hurt. And Akala, he is such a clutch player. Like, the amount of spaghetti situations that he was putting in this bracket, specifically versus Hurt and Mia, and he still managed to come out on top, it just shows he has iron nerves. This kid really does not get nervous. Now, to be fair, you are a character like Steve, where in the last talk, last hit situations, you could just be throwing out F smashes and minecarts all willy-nilly, like, but still, you have to be very calm to do so. And Akala, he managed to do it versus both Mia and Hurt 2 weekends in a row versus me as well. So huge credit to Akla. You got to give him his flowers. He's just such a consistent player. The most consistent player this game has arguably ever seen. I mean, obviously pre-quarantine Leo, I don't know if anyone's going to be able to touch that, but if someone could get even close to that caliber of play, it would be Akala. He has the most majors won in 2023, and we've still got a bunch of months left in this year. He could eventually take that title of the most majors won in the entirety of Smash Ultimate from MKLeo, and the way that he's been playing, if he keeps up on this pace, it's only a matter of time. Editing group block, I just forgot to mention how good the grand finals was between Hurt and Akla up until right around here, so I'm just probably going to put it right around here. It was one of the best grand finals I've seen in a very long time. It is a bit of a long one because it's a little bit slow. It's just the nature of the characters, but if you do enjoy Snake or Steve, I highly recommend that you watch this grands because it was so good. And I thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. The support has been absolutely unreal. Again, if there's any player that I left out, something I got wrong, or if you just want to say hi, leave a comment down below. Be sure to sub, all that yada yada, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.